Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Chime with Jaleesa. And I just want to say thank you to everybody that has been super supportive and reaching out, telling me that they love the episodes and they're so excited to watch more. It's one of my favorite things to sit here and record for you guys, share my experiences, my little words of wisdom, everything I can think of, because as I've mentioned before, these episodes are just as much for me as they are for you guys, for y'all, simply because I need to hear these things, and I think saying them out loud sets it a little bit more firm for like who I am as a person and like developing my core values, because these are things I really believe in and that I try to incorporate in my life, especially when it comes to some of my words of advice. I try my best to take those in for me because life is hard, and I will say that time and time again, because one of the best things that I've realized is that when I change my self-talk, the language that I use in my head, everything else follows through with it. I wanted to give you guys a recap incorporated into today's podcast episode and podcast gems and words of wisdom, because it is the month of June. About a year ago, I don't know why I sang that like that, about a month, life is really kicking me when I'm down. About a year ago, in the month of June, I started recording for the very first time episodes of Chime with Jaleesa. That means I've been doing this podcast for about a year, and like I said, it is one of my most favorite things to look forward to. Recording, planning out the episodes, countless hours of putting the words up here onto either paper or on the laptop to get the words out, because again, just as much for me as it is for you all. So let's get into it. As you guys know, last month I graduated, and now it's time for me to be an adult. As I said, it's June. I have less than a month, maybe approximately a month, about a month or so being left. Words are difficult today. Sentences, hard. I've about a month left of being in this apartment in particular, in specifics. Now, as to where I'm going next, I have no idea. I have a good feeling, a good inkling, a good manifestation happening, but I really don't know where I'm headed next. I know it's going to be a great adventure, and I want to answer one of the questions that I've been getting quite often, probably since I first moved away from home, being summer 2017, when I moved to North Carolina for the first time for school. Why do you keep going so far from home? Why do you not go back home and live and work and everything back home? And the answer to that question is because I love being able to say I am born and raised in San Diego, California. It is a beautiful city. It's a beautiful state to be a resident of. But the person that I was there and that was raised and experienced life there, that is somebody I'm trying to outgrow. And I don't say that in a negative way. I don't like, oh, I had such a terrible time during my upbringing, and nothing like that. It's the simple fact that that girl who was, up till she was 18, she now looks up to me. I am a version of myself that I can only imagine and hope that my younger self would be proud of, because everything I learned there, everything I learned in North Carolina, everything I've learned here in Philly is all translating into who I'm going to be and who I have the opportunity to be, and give myself grace and shift and continue to develop as a person. Because at the end of the day, I know a lot of us are thinking like, oh, like once you grow up, like that's who you are for the rest of your life. It's not. Fun fact, you can be whoever you want at any given point in time, but I don't want to move back home because I want to continue to explore and expand who I am, the experiences I have, people I meet, and learning their experiences and asking them, getting to know how they have gone through their journey, what things that they've picked up along the road, any words of wisdom and gems from them as well. Simply because the more people you talk to, the more doors, opportunities, spaces you allow yourself to step into. And I think that's like really important in cultivating not only who you are, but what you want to do. Like I said, a year ago, I probably didn't think I'd be on episode 37. I think this is episode 37. I probably didn't think I'd be here. I can imagine getting past 17, because I threw out that statistic of most podcasts fizzle out at episode 17. And here I am 20 episodes later, and I have so many more in the tank. You guys, the amount of excitement I have for guests that I'll be having on as soon as we can get these schedules to work out. And then of course, like behind the scenes and like little extras and stuff. I have videos I need to put out still. I need to fix a lot of the editing and adjust the little voiceover bits. But there's a lot of good things coming. And the idea of my passion for what I am going to do and where I'm headed in life is something I can only like get ready for you guys. Like I can't even begin to tell you guys how bad I want you guys to see all this stuff and like be in my brain with me so you can get excited for all the stuff I have coming. And this passion, like I said, this mindset is what gets me out of the rut, out of those hard days, those down, low vibes, because I actually just got out of like a really bad little valley. Well, I won't say really bad. Let's be honest, I have no concept of whether it's super bad or not. But for a good little period of time, I was having a hard time getting out, moving my body, seeing the sun, because I kind of felt unfulfilled for a little bit, because there's so much uncertainty between graduation and what I'm doing next. And I had the same experience back when I graduated from undergrad. There was so much uncertainty and I didn't have anything set in stone. I was gonna go off the deep end. No, I didn't know what I wanted to do, and I didn't find myself loving anything until I gave myself the opportunity to grow more. Like once again, I left home, came to Philly for grad school, and I've grown exponentially. $7 word for you guys today. One of my favorite parts about looking back on the past 6 months, and I'm literally going to focus on the past 6 months, is that I have grown in every single aspect, like I said, exponentially. And all of it came from the mindset shift of what do I want to do for the rest of my life, which felt very restrictive, very planted in one place, and stuck. And I switched from that mindset to what and how can I put the skills that I have, the dream that I want to achieve, and what the world needs. How can I form all three of those aspects into something I can see myself doing for a while, doing to get myself on my feet, grow independently, truly like find new spaces to grow. And the important part of like that second aspect, that second mindset, is that it takes off that pressure of having to plan out the next 1, 5, 10, 15, 20 years of your life to where you can stress yourself out. I would get stressed out literally thinking about what comes next, because as we know, I would just go with the flow. At some point, there's a good couple years of my life where I was like, you know what, let's go with the flow, because I'm just happy to be here. I made it past, how old was I? 19. I made it past 19. We're just gonna kick back. We're just gonna do what it is. Do what it is. We're gonna do what it do. And now I'm in a headspace where it's like, okay, I have this renewed flame of what I want to do. Like there's a fire burning under me of all the things that I'm excited for in life. And it came from one, relaxing, like taking a second to like not take myself so serious. I talked about it in my last episode with my mentor, but we take ourselves way too serious. And I'm not saying like make everything a joke, because obviously there are times in life where we have to be very serious and we have to get down to business. We gotta grind, we gotta work. But there's also this space and ability to relax and take a step back and just breathe and understand that regardless of where you are and where you've come from, you're in a new space and moment, and you need to live in the present. Yes, plan for the future, do cool stuff, be excited for things that are coming, but don't spend so much time thinking about what's over there to where you forget where you are in the moment, and you're missing out on like really cool parts of life. Like, I think if I was either absorbed in my past and like overthinking and reflecting on all the other stuff that's happened, I wouldn't be able to enjoy the times now that I have with my friends, that I had in school, that I'm like spending this time now to just like explore and like go have fun. And I want to keep that mentality even when I step into my next space, that being a job. Send out good vibes. And while we're sounding out good vibes, send yourself over to the YouTube to leave a comment. It's one of my best transitions. No, but actually go over to the YouTube, leave a comment, leave a like, leave a rating on Spotify or Apple Podcasts, just so I know that you guys do like this material, because I love hearing back from y'all. I've gotten text and then word of mouth communications from like family and friends and everything that are like, oh, like I heard Jaleesa's podcast, it's super cool, like this is so cool that she's doing this, and you know, she has a lot of good things to say. Thank you very much. But all of that, all of these good wishes come from the ability to have a safe space to do this. I feel a cough attack on its way. 1 second. Oh my God. Whew. Surviving. Anyways, like I said, all of those well wishes and those words of acknowledgement at the end of the day, it makes me really happy, because I have put my essence, my soul essence into the podcast, because I really do enjoy doing this, and I like teaching myself new stuff too. The other reason I find that the reflection of the past 6 months is huge for me is because I found that where I best serve as a leader is in the spaces that I am most comfortable and I naturally gravitate towards. Under no circumstance did anybody force me to sit down and record the very first episode of Chime with Jaleesa. Now, that's not to say that the inspiration for it came from nowhere. Simply the fact that my camera just glitched. Simply the fact that I was given the encouragement and a guiding hand on how to pour myself into this part of my passion. And that aspect of just being a natural leader or comfortability in that space is truly what's making this so successful for me. Is I have had topics and conversations with people that are genuine gold, simply because I am opening myself up to talk about the different things, the different hard aspects of life, the experiences I've had from high school, college, now I can foresee in the future because I am psychic. No, but I do have golden conversations that really open up my eyes and my perspective to a new way of thinking, which I think is so critical in growth. And like I said, that's been a huge part of the last 6 months for me, is because I used to wake up like in a panic. I used to wake up dreading the day because I was like, you know what, I'm just so tired. The amount of times I would tell people that I'm tired and they're like, oh, well, you don't look tired. I wasn't physically exhausted. I was mentally and emotionally drained and exhausted and overcome with that fatigue because I was unfulfilled. Like, I spent so long suppressing the desire to do what I want and suppressing like who I could be because I thought I had to be somebody else based on other people's standards and expectations and society and all these crazy things, because I thought that was important. Like, I really genuinely thought what other people perceived me as, that who didn't know me, like, I genuinely let that impact me down to like my core. And I don't do that anymore. And I found myself less tired. It's like magic. No, but I do think allowing yourself the freedom to be who you are and to explore options based on your passions and dreams and what you want to put effort towards is like soul shaping. And honestly, it's really rewarding at the end of the day. Which reminds me that I will say this until everybody's doing it. Give yourself the freedom and the grace to pivot as you see fit. Do all these unproductive things until you find what it is that makes you happy, like that makes your soul excited to be here on earth and like living and interacting with people, because you don't have to pour yourself into something you're not passionate about for the sake of other people. Like, that's not why you were put here on earth, to roam around, you know? I don't know what this motion was. But being unfulfilled is because you are stopping yourself. I used to think that the expression of, oh, you're your own biggest enemy or you're your own biggest opponent, I used to think that was just like what people told you to ignore. Like, I used to think like it was like this superficial idea of like, oh, I say that when I notice somebody's feeling down, but I never got the conviction from anybody. And I realized I needed to just give that conviction to myself. Like, I fully needed to believe that I was my only opponent. Like, I was my biggest competitor. And the only person I have to ever be better than is who I was yesterday. Straight fire. But the end of my recap and the end of this episode truly comes from the reflection of the past 6 months. I am so excited of where I'm headed. I'm so excited to give you guys a plethora and world of my perspective. I mean, that's what you get when you chime in with Jaleesa, and we've been chiming in for about a year now. So, who knows? Maybe something a little special will come out on June 21st. Pulled that out the memory bank. I was going to make a funny joke, but it then wasn't funny anymore because I forgot it. But thank you guys so much for chiming with Jaleesa. Please, again, jump on over to Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and YouTube and leave ratings, likes, comments, whatever you want. Even if it's just to say hi. Tell me how you're doing. I love to check in with people as well. It has been an incredible episode. I will see y'all next time. And thank you again for chiming in with Jaleesa. Peace.